If you're one of those ones that's intentionally isolated yourself from everything that no longer serves you, from people, places, and situations that no longer pour into you, and you have chosen to pour into yourself and pursue yourself, that takes a tremendous amount of courage, and I honor you so much for that. And you should be honoring yourself for that. But I will say that being intentionally isolated versus separation are two completely different things. And I'm gonna go into depth on why it's important to isolate yourself intentionally and not just separate yourself, okay? So before we get too deep into it, hi, welcome back. And I hope that you're ready for a little bit of wisdom and a lot of these vibes, okay? Being intentional about the time that you spend alone, because the time that you spend alone is a unifield of possibilities that could go anyway. But when you separate yourself, it's usually out of fear, out of a trauma response, out of like you're just kind of retreating. But you're not doing it for something. You're doing it out of pain, out of discomfort, because you're hurt. Someone did something to you. So now you're gonna close your heart off to love. Separating yourself out of pain means you're still doing the same things that you did 10 years ago. It's just in a different way. You're just calling it a separation phase now. You're just using it as an excuse to not hit up your friends, to only date casually, you know? If you are intentionally isolating yourself, you are using this time to get in shape. You're using this time to explore yourself in its entirety, getting to the root of all of your wounds so that you're not passing that hurt on to anyone else. You're remaining abstinent. You're not dating anyone because you don't want to pass that hurt on to anyone else. And it's kind of like what I was talking about in my last video, hurt people, and it's hurt on top of hurt on top of hurt on top of hurt. And you realize that you're a part of that cycle. So you're intentionally removing yourself so that you can evolve, so that you can become new, so that you can get out here and be healthy for not only other people, but for yourself as well. And I will tell you that when you're intentionally isolating yourself and you've been in this isolation phase for so long, it's very difficult to come out of that easily. Like, you don't just leave that isolation easily, because now you're not competing for someone. Now the tables have turned completely. Okay, they've done a complete 180. And now people are competing with your peace. People are competing with the time that you spend alone. Is it better to spend time with you than it is by myself? 9 times out of 10, it don't be. If you're not intentionally being alone to grow, to evolve, to get to know yourself, then you're going to continuously pursue things outside of you. But then once you get to the point where you're tired of that and you're not getting anywhere, you realize now it's time to pursue me, because I'm the only thing that I haven't pursued in this lifetime. So now maybe it's time to pursue me. Maybe it's time to find me. Instead of trying to find love outside of me, maybe it's time to get in touch with the love that I have on the inside. And once you do, and you start to break out a little cocoon, and you got your little wing poking out a little bit, you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready. But everything is saying, yes, you're ready to come out of this cocoon. Everything is saying, yes, you're ready to fly, to explore this new version of yourself. But nobody tells you how hard it is when you come out of this cocoon and you're flying around and you're looking at your surroundings and you realize that not everybody was in a cocoon when you were. Not everybody was growing when you were. And it's a difficult realization because you're like, okay, I've grown. Now I'm ready to see what's out there. I'm ready to see who's for me, what kind of friendships I'm going to have, what kind of romance I'm going to experience. And then you get out there and there's nothing. No one tells you how heartbreaking that can be. But keep the faith, because maybe when you were a caterpillar just crawling around here, because I remember my caterpillar phase, and I was kind of talking about this on my Snapchat last night, where I was like, I used to drink Jose Cuervo, the gold kind, out of a bottle, a whole pint, with a silicone straw, out of the bottle. What is wrong with me? And that was because I was seeking validation. I was amongst other caterpillars who didn't know themselves. I was amongst situations, places, environments, whatever you want to call it, that didn't have room for me to grow. So I naturally gravitated to what everyone else was doing. And what made me realize that was I didn't even know where a liquor store was in my area because I hadn't bought a bottle of liquor in over 2 years. And I'm not saying I was an alcoholic or anything, y'all. Like, relax. But I did drink way more than I drink now. Like, I could drink yesterday I didn't get drunk or anything, which I don't drink to get drunk anymore. But I had some drinks. I probably won't drink again for a while. Unless there's an event, something comes up. But usually it's 1 drink, 2 drinks. Whereas I would have 10 drinks, maybe. But like I said, I had a pint of Jose Cuervo that I was just literally casually drinking with a straw. And when you look back at your caterpillar phase and you go into this cocoon, you're kind of forced into this cocoon, because I was forced there. I was forced into this cocoon. I remember when I went into this cocoon, and this was back in 2020, right when COVID, literally the week before COVID hit. I feel like when COVID hit, that was like the beginning of a new me. But that was when I went into this cocoon, and I realized that there was a lot wrong with me, that there was a lot that I was doing that wasn't serving me, that there was a lot that I was doing that was out of validation, out of hurt, and I was harming myself. And not only was I harming myself, I was harming others unconsciously. But then when I went into this cocoon, I took the time to intentionally work on myself. But I didn't go into the cocoon at first. I was only halfway there. I was maybe standing outside the cocoon. And I had done separated myself from people out of pain, out of hurt, out of a trauma response. But I wasn't fully giving to myself. I wasn't fully pursuing myself. I was only toning it down, Maybe not talking to 3 guys at one time. Maybe I cut it down to 1 or 2. And not saying that I was being intimate with all of those guys, but I would entertain multiple different guys. And then I went down to maybe 1 until I realized, okay, that's not even working. Now I really, I'm being forced into this because I'm like, okay, there's nothing else for me to pursue. I've, went to school and I'm doing what I love to do. And, that's that. The career is stable. but I'm still not stable. I still don't know myself. I still don't fully love myself. I only love myself superficially. I only love what I can give to other people. I only love the fact that I'm a fun time for people to laugh at, to be the butt of everybody's jokes. Because I would do stupid. And it wasn't because I was doing it on purpose. It was because I was a hot mess. A hot mess. And it forced me into that cocoon phase to where I was working from home and I literally was alone for a good year by myself. Literally not talking to nobody, no guys, and I barely had friends at the time. It was just me. And I had to sit with the silence. I had to sit with the loudness of the silence, because that's what they don't tell you when you're in this isolation phase, is that the silence is loud. It's loud. It's you versus you at this point. It's you coming home to yourself, you ridding all the demons inside of you that you unconsciously picked up from alcohol or drugs or being sexual with people or from whatever, from childhood, trauma and stuff. It was just me versus me. It was me by myself, and I had to figure me out. I had to grow. I had to evolve. Because at that point, I had started my podcast. And I just kept asking God to order my steps. Show me how good it can get. I kept asking God to make sure that I'm being the person that He needs me to be in order to create this podcast, in order to fulfill this mission that I'm on. Whatever this mission is, because it still wasn't very clear to me back then. So during those years, I was building consistency. I was building discipline. I was getting to know myself. I was setting boundaries. I was evolving in my cocoon with no one around. And this is like the third year that I have not talked to anybody consistently. I've had guys that I've talked to like sporadically for a month or two, if that, but it never went anywhere. So like nothing that I've fully immersed myself into and poured into. So like the whole point of me saying that is I'm ready to like pour into someone now, because I've poured into myself a lot, but I'm waiting for God to give me the go ahead to, like that this is the guy for me, that I should pour into them, and that's that. I'm not closed off to it though, because I do give people a chance. It just tells me, like God just tells me in my brain, no, every time. So then I'm forced to cut them off or ghost them if it wasn't that long. Or if they do something stupid, I just ghost them. Yeah, I'm a ghoster. I'm sorry. Sorry to those men. But the whole moral of this is your isolation phase, your cocoon phase might last a little bit longer than you wanted it to. It might still be going on when you make different moves or whatever it is that you feel like you are ready for. Maybe you're really not ready for that. Or maybe the area that you're in, the people that you're around are not ready for that. It sucks, but I think it's better to continue being intentional about pursuing you than it is to be out here pursuing other people, still doing the same things that you once did for validation, for love. Because now you know your worth. Now you know how to set boundaries. Now you understand what peace really is. And if no one can accept any of that, if there's no one around you that can compete with the peace that you feel within yourself, that you feel when you're alone, then that's not the person for you. Oh my God, they just drained me. Oh, now I need time alone, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not the relationship for you, if that's how you feel. But I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I hope that y'all took something away from this and can look at yourself and be like, yeah, I'm not really intentionally isolating myself. Maybe I'm just separating myself. If you're still casually dating, casually having sex, can't stop drinking for a while, can't stop doing, like, smoking a little bit of weed for a while, can't stop doing the things that you've always done. The things that you've always done. It's not serving you. It doesn't help you. It's not helping you grow. So take the time to really evaluate yourself in your life. If you're wondering what's next for you, what is next for you is pursuing yourself. That's what's next. If you're confused on who you are, pursue you. If you're confused about what you want to do as far as career, pursue you. If you're confused about what you want from a relationship, pursue you. Pursue your relationship with you. Pursue your relationship with God. And I'm telling you, everything that you're questioning is just, you're going to have the answer to as soon as you put yourself in the position to hear that answer and to receive that answer. Because you're going to know, your soul knows when it's time to move. Your soul knows when it's time to pursue you, because you're wondering. You have so many thoughts. You have so many questions. Pursue you. They're all within you. There's nothing that you can find that's outside of you, because 100% you are going to keep running into the same things if you don't listen to that inner voice inside of you. If you don't take the time to focus on you, like fully go in on focusing on you, bro. I'm telling you, it's the best thing that I've ever done. And not half-assedly, fully focus on you. Focus on the things that you love to do. And I guarantee you, all of the answers that you need are going to come to you. And that may be answers that you don't love, but they're answers. And I think that's why a lot of times we go into this separation instead of this intentional isolation, because we're afraid of what we might hear. We're afraid of what we might see. We're afraid of who we might become. We're afraid of ourselves. And that fear keeps you stuck. That fear keeps you in this state of the unknown. Like you will stay in the unifield of the unknown because you're not creating nothing. This unknown period is for you to create. It's for you to find happiness, find joy, find laughter, find friends, find courage, find bravery, find admiration for yourself and for other things around you. Forgive yourself. So many different things can be created. You're just not creating them because you're not in your feminine energy. If you're an overthinker, that's not creating. You're just thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. You're actively thinking about things, but you're not flowing with those thoughts and those ideas so that you can actually have something tangible. And whatever seed you're sowing right now, best believe that's the seed that you're going to be harvesting next year. So go ahead and go into your intentional isolation now. So next year or whenever your harvest starts to bloom and is ready to be picked, you'll have something good. instead of getting rotten fruit every year, you'll have something that's edible. So I encourage you to take the time to pursue you. Not just passively pursue you, which is separation. Actively pursue you, which is intentional isolation. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave me some comments if you feel what I'm saying, okay? I don't just be saying that just to say it. Like, do what I say. But no, I pray that you guys receive this message well, and I pray that you receive all the wisdom and all the vibes, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.